3/4 ton. We got electric winch on it. We kind of use it for a yard dog. I got a wrecker sling on it. I pick stuff around on it. We don't take it out on the highway anymore. This is a 1940 D4 7J Caterpillar. It did a little hard work in its life, wear all the way through the blade, get that hole in it, but it's a good tight little machine. I bought this old truck in November 1972, 66 Ford F600, had 22,000 miles on it. We wore the engine out. It's got a 40,000-pound winch on the back now. That bed slopes off. I used to could come up behind anything and just drag it on up on this truck. If I could hook it to it, I'd get it on it. We'd use it for a yard dog. I got an engine to go in it. I'm gonna put a 6-cylinder in it. But I got another old car over here. It's a 55 Chevrolet. It's 4-door. Got a 2-door door hung on it and all that stuff cut out. One of them started the conversion and never completed kind of deal. Old 56 Chevrolet, 2-door. Kind of one of them Freddie Flintstone kind of deals. You can just walk around in there on the floor and everywhere. Ain't got much there, but it does have the VIN number and stuff on it. This is a 4-door that I bought. I think I paid $130 for it. And I pulled the front cap and the spindles and the steering column stuff and the brake pedals and all that stuff off of it, front cap to fix that 55 Ford wagon. Here's another 55 Chevy 2-door. It ain't quite as Freddie Flintstone as that. You just have to have a strong person in the back to run it because there's front floorboards in it somewhat. I've got a frame to go under that.
Take it.
A 56 2-door. Factory automatic. I done sold the column, the automatic column and all that stuff out of it. It's just what it is. It's been in the fire, looks like. Had a hard life. Short bed. 64, 5, 6 Chevrolet. I don't know what year it is. Just no bottom. It's a Tempest. And it's got that slant 4 that's half of a 389 V8 and that transaxle in it. It's an old H-Farmall, one of them that they let the rain down the exhaust and froze and busted inside the engine. No M-Farmall, same thing, they let it rain down the exhaust on the engine. I'll let my camera lady catch up with me. That over there is an M-Farmall. It runs, needs a little more work on it. This is a 66 Chevrolet. It was 3/4 ton. Had a 327 and a 3-speed automatic in it from the factory. Factory big back glass. We drove it a lot. That old truck there is 65. This is 65 Ford. It's really solid. Ain't got no rust or cancer in it. It's got a 330 motor and a granny 4-speed transmission out of a 68 Ford school bus in it. It's got them oddball wheels on it. I don't like them much. You can't find tires for them. There's some Keystone mags and a bunch more wheels and stuff. Early Dodge Power Wagon, I don't know, 46, 47, belongs to my oldest son. The Dodge house cab truck with the extra quarter windows in that belongs to my oldest son. And said 51 job rated Dodge truck. That truck run, it was backed right into where it's sitting. It drove right there. 350 International. It run all right and everything. The brakes wasn't very good on it. It drove right here. I don't know how many years it's been sitting there, but it's been a while. '70s square cab we're parting out. That's a '66 Chevrolet factory four-wheel drive frame, both rear ends under it, just bare frame. Transaxle's already gone. That's an old '50 Chevrolet 2-ton truck. This is a World War II Jeep body that's been converted into a mud buggy. That's a 3/4 ton 80s truck, I don't know, 85, 86 I believe. This is a '65 Chevrolet. You can tell it's a '65 because the fender badge is right there. The '66 has a fender badge down here and the '64 has a fender badge up here. That's the only difference I can tell in them years of them trucks. Grandma,
I have a question. When was World War II?
Back in 1944, 1945.
Why did everybody say it was in 2020?
Oh, well, that was probably World War I.
Well, they say.
This is a '70 International Harvester. Got a V8, granny 4-speed, 2-speed rear end, hydraulic brakes, dump brakes, everything on the truck runs good. I drove it right where it's sitting. There's a short bed frame with a rusty big window cab on it, 66.
Did you have to survive through it?
Here's 66 GMC. See the trim on these? Different. Chevrolets have like cab sails on it, but that's where the custom cab trim is on that truck. Long bed. Got leaf springs in the back. The front suspension under this thing's been changed. That's out of a '73 on up square cab truck. Whole cross member and all you put on there. You get 5-hole hubs and disc brake. That's a roll crop 350 International. It's just like them other old tractors. They left the exhaust uncovered and it rained down in it and burnt the engine. Our little '65 Chevrolet short bed. Next to it's a bed, rear end and that from a '65 or '6 long bed truck. The '66 that had backup lights.
Grandma, I think I see a
This
tornado.
is a '68 Chevrolet pickup that belongs to my youngest
Grandma, I
son.
think I see a tornado being made.
This used to be our record one time. And we drove this thing many miles and drug a lot of stuff behind it. Used a long time. We finally got something we thought was better and quit using it. Took the cab off and put over on another old truck. That's 66 GMC short bed frame. There's a short bed Chevrolet trailer. There's another 64 5.6 Chevrolet short bed. That's a 3/4 ton. That was sold in Pocahontas. 3/4 ton GMC. That's a Chevrolet. That's a GMC there. Both them two's half tons. This is an old 50 model school bus. I sold the engine out of this from a guy at Flathead 6, and he came all the way from California to get it. Drove it.
Okay, I remember right here there used to be a little.
This is 66 GMC. was drove right here. I drove this truck 6 years, that license insured. I went everywhere in that old truck.
Grandma, I remember right here used to be a water tank. And we had
This
to
is
stick
just parts.
going across it.
This old 53 Ford. I pulled the engine out of it at a 262 6-cylinder. I pulled it out and put in a 55 Ford wagon. And now I'm gonna take that engine out of that wagon and put it over in that old boom truck, the old 66 Ford truck. This is an International Metro van. The motor, everything's still in it. The drive line's all in it. The motor's not stuck. I've just never tried to start it. But I got out here the other day and I noticed some no good has took the Metro letters off and stole them. They're gone. Some of those sticky fingers. I think that old bus is a 52. There's a couple more of them 67 through 72s. That blue one's a 67. I think it's a 72 cab. '66 short wheelbase Chevrolet, 6-cylinder stick. Sold new here in Pocahontas. When Paul Chevrolet sold this truck brand new. And they had it sitting out under a great old big oak tree and a limb fell out and bent the hood and bent the roof and stuff. But I mean, it's a short bed 66 truck. But you can see what I'm talking about. That 65, that fender badge was right there. See there on this 66, it's right here. And on the 64, it's way down here. So there's 65 right there. You see where the fender badge was. I drove that truck a lot, 283 stick. It had overdrive. That did. I drove this truck a lot too. It's 283 3-speed. Still, those cabs usable on. Could be fixed. You put rockers and stuff in. This old 3/4 ton. 2-wheel drive. I bought it just to get that 454 motors in it. Put that 454 engine in my 71 truck. That's where the engine come from. That old truck was stripped out when I got it. I just traded for it. That old ton truck right there. Like it is.
Look. And this.
93 S10. We bought that to get the glass out of it. Putting another one needed glass. This 64 Fairlane, we got it for parts for 2 other Fairlanes we got that are 2-door hard tops, same year as this. It's big window GMC cab, in a short bed, 64 big back glass, factory automatic pickup, old junk hay baler, old junk Chevrolet. And this here's a High Sierra, 2-wheel drive High Sierra. It belongs to my oldest son, still does. And he turned that thing over on his roof on the snow one day, and I was in there with him. That wasn't too much fun, you know. I'd rather not ever do that no more times. That belonged to my daddy, and it wouldn't start one day, and he left it neutral up in the woods. He come back and couldn't see it nowhere. And he looked and it rolled down the hill about 1/8 of a mile and centered up on a big oak tree. And he pulled it back out and was going to fix it again. Then he decided, well, it wasn't worth fixing. He told me, hook your record to it and drag that old truck off. I don't want it anymore. So that's how come it's there. Some kind of old car I got given to me for dragging it off. Chevrolet, I never ever even put the hood up on it. I don't know what it is. haul off for scrap someday. Haul this off for scrap someday too, the old 65 Chevrolet. There ain't too much left of it. There's an old 50 Chevrolet coupe. I cut the quarter panels off to put on a sedan delivery I had. 64, 70 Chevelle, 4-door. Belongs to my oldest son. It's a real solid little old car. He bought it for parts for his 70 Chevelle hardtop he owns. And that's what it's doing here. That's one of them old mods that's got a rotor engine and 4-speed. They claim them things will run. I don't know. I never ever started them. Old World War II Army trailer. They, according to the info on this that my son gleaned, that this was with a patent in Europe. 69 Ford Fairlane hardtop. Complete car when I got it. I pulled the rear end out because there's an inch and air in a 55 Chevy rear end, and that's the rear end housing and axles and stuff that's under my 55 Chevy car. I sold another guy fixing a convertible, a quarter panel and door and fender and stuff off of it. Another guy come and got all the dash and stuff out of it. The rats ate all the interior out of it long, long ago. Them old cars down there are just old junk. That disc brake rear end's done gone out of that Thunderbird. These just ordinary old 4-door cars. Need to haul them off the scrap. This here's a 65 Chevrolet long bed. Just parts, junk. This belonged to my youngest son.
My daddy.
Somehow it tore apart and burnt. I put it on the record and brought it in and parked it right here.
My daddy. When I go home, I'm gonna say, Daddy, I got part of your old truck.
One of my relatives bought that 69 Chevy wagon, brand new. And they got done messing with it, they give it to me. I still got the 327 motor that was in it. I just wanted the engine out of it. 48 Chevy 4-door. We probably owned this thing 55 years. Ain't never did nothing with it. This old truck right here is a Silverado diesel. It's got that hydrostat brakes and power steering that runs off the power steering pump and everything. Old diesel truck. This one of them trucks like that guy you see on the internet, Puddin's Fab Shop, is real tickled with. It's one of them old Datsuns. I bought that, it's been in a tornado. And I did have it running, the engine run real well in it. It had a real good running engine and everything. I drove it around just a little bit on a can of gas. That's another old hay baler. That's something kind of rare. That's a 430 male engine, Lincoln Mercury Edsel 430 engine. See the fuel pump right up here on top on the front? That's how you tell them from a 368. I had that in a pickup one time. $70 something. I don't remember what year I got title to it, but I don't remember what year. 70 something. 4-wheel drive, still got the transmission, drive shafts, and all that in it. Old rusty truck. 75 Monte Carlo. My son bought that because it had a 400 motor. We took the engine out of it and pulled the front cap off when we pulled the engine. We still got the front cap to it. It's got them swivel bucket seats in it. An old Chevrolet, just junk. '66 GMC cab, '66 Chevrolet cab. Here's another one of those Datsun trucks. I had that running too. It's got a little 4-cylinder in it. A little bit. It ain't overhead cam for it, just a regular 4-cylinder. I had that little truck running. Been in a tornado. '56 Chevrolet 3/4 ton cab. There's a bed, short bed for a 67 through 72 truck. That's an old Ford van. When I got it, somebody installed a 289 automatic in it. I done sold that engine transmission. That's an old GMC, Jimmy. It's like a Blazer, but it's a GMC version. Still some parts left on it. I've sold a lot of stuff off of it. Old rusty car there, just an old rusty car. This right here is a 2010 John Deere backhoe, made in 1962. It's pretty much a POS. It runs and everything, but I'd call it old leaky because it leaks so much hydraulic fluid. And the cylinders and stuff all kitted up on it. You put new seals and stuff in there, they'd be just leaking again today, so there's no point. It wasn't one of my better purchases.
I like you. Here's a cupcake.
I got a few radiators stored in the back of that old 66 truck. You always tell a 66 Chevrolet from the earlier ones, because 66 was the only year had them backup lights in it, down there. The rest of them, it was auction.
I like you on the cupcake. Oh my goodness. We don't like you, huh? Cookie cake. I like you. Have a cupcake. I like you. Have a cupcake.
Some kind of old Japanese diesel power unit. I bought it for less money at auction than what the radiator would scrap out for. That's an old power washer, hot water heater. Coils was bad in it. I bought half a dozen of them things at auction, and so far ain't none of them been any good. Not one of them. Couple of doors for an old Chevy truck. These cabs belong to my youngest son. He saved them because they got this right here, this factory air on them. Factory air dashes. He wanted to save them because of that. This is the only one of these old square cabs I've had around here that was factory stick shift, but even this one, somebody's put an automatic floor shift in it, but it was factory stick. That's old 66 Chevy 3/4 ton cab. There's a square cab over there. That truck originally was a 454 truck. That white and brown one right over there. What's left of a bee farm on is just like all them others. They let it rain down the exhaust and freeze and dust on the inside. That's part of a sea farm on. This is an old A farm on. And this is another A farm on. Well, this here is a little bit different. It's got a metal shift knob on there instead of a rubber one. That means it was made during the wartime, World War II. They were short of rubber, so they made a cast iron shift knob for the tractors made in them days. So that's it in the 40s. This belongs to my youngest son. He's got a short bed frame, and he's wanting to put this cab on it because it's a real good cab. He's going to take this cab off of this 3/4 ton, put it on a 1/2 ton, build him a short bed 1/2 ton truck. There's our geese. Anything goes on, they come out and want to make their noise and stuff. This 72 Chevrolet truck got a 305 motor out of a 75 Monte Carlo. When we bought it, the flex plate was broke, and that boy was young. He wanted to drive it. I made him get under, pull the transmission back, and change the flex plate. It took 10 times longer if I did it myself, but he learned how to do it. Put that gas cap back on there, Chris. You don't want rain in the tank of your daddy's truck. This is a rusty. Come out of St. Louis, I imagine. Whole bottom of it rusted out. 53 Ford 2-door sedan. I bought this at a estate sale for $5. And we went to get it. My wife went along with me. And she looks at it and said, "How much did you pay for that car?" And I said, $5. And she said, "Well, I'll give you 10 to leave it here." And I said, "No, there's a lot of good parts on that car." So we brought it on in, and I sold the axle out of it. I sold some of the dash off of it. I shipped somebody in Washington State a whole bunch of the stainless chrome on it. Another guy out in Oregon bought them boxes, air boxes with the hood hinges off on the front. I sold them for $250 plus the shipping. Them was a rare item. And there's still some good stainless on the old car. I just hate to, and the glass ain't bad on it. I just hate to haul it off for scrap. It being it's a 2-door and there's still some good parts somebody might want. That right there is that oldest boy's 70 Chevelle, 2-door hardtop. He don't want to sell it. And right behind it, there's what I call a wrong side. That was a 64 Ford truck. Got that bed that they came out with in 57. I call them wrong side bed. It's just what it is. This is a cab off my old record. I put it on this frame. But this is a 66 Chevrolet, factory 4-wheel drive. Got the divorce transfer case in it. It's one of them projects I started on and never got back around to fixing on. There's the front cap off that really solid 53 Ford. This old International is one of them trucks.
I like you. Have a cup.
I showed it to my wife, said, "Don't buy that thing." And me being who I am, I didn't listen to her and I bought it. And it was the very worst truck I ever owned. It broke down on the way home. It broke down every time I tried to go anywhere.
It did.
We walked more. We walked more and had more fits and more problems with this truck than anything we've ever owned. And I keep it just to remind me not to make them kind of deals no more.
Listen to your wife.
Anyway, this is a 55 Ford Freddie Flintstone wagon. As you can see. Come out of St. Louis, I imagine. Frame's been up front because it's been wrecked. But I bought this just to get the back glass and the garnish molding that goes around that back glass for that wagon up at the house, that 2-door wagon. but it's also got a real good solid spare tire well in back here. This back here is good and solid, and this car's rusted out in that wagon I got up at the house. That's an old Eagle. I've never even had that running. Never messed with it. This old 4-door, that's pretty rusty. I took the engine out and put in a 56. It had a 235, good engine. And I plan on taking the rest of this body off and that 2-door 55 body up there, putting on this frame. This is one of them there, what they call a Hollywood frame or California frame. It's one of them that's seamless frame, supposed to weigh 40 pounds less than a 2-piece frame. We got a pair of these 64 Ford Fairlanes. I've got engines and stuff for them. My middle son used to drive this one right here. He drove both of them. He drove this one a lot when he was a little kid. He had a 289, a 4-speed in this thing, and he could really drive it when he was about 14 years old. He'd drive the far out of it. There's a side view of that old Chevelle. It's seen better days, but it's still what it is. We probably had this car 45 years. I always liked that turquoise color right there. That's a pretty color. Somebody before us had painted it with a brush with an olive drab army paint for some reason. It's all come off over here. I did get it running. I put this engine in there. That's that 262 out of that 53 Ford truck. Now I'm going to pull this motor out and put it in that Ford 66 Ford boom truck because I've come up with a 390 motor out of a 62 T-Bird. And I'm going to put that 390 T-Bird motor in here. That engine will bolt in. I did that before, put FE 55, 56 Fords. It'll work. Pretty good old car. We would sell that one. Old 55, 6 Ford truck. When we first got married, a couple years after we got married, about 75, 76, we drove this as factory automatic. My wife drove it a lot too. We drove it a whole lot back then. I needed to do something with it, get it going again.
Sell
or
it.
something.
Sell it.
What?
Sell it.
Well, whatever. Here's another one of them old Pilot House Dodges. This belongs to my oldest son, and it's got one of them south wind heaters in it that runs off of gasoline, you know, blazing inferno type deal. My daddy said them work real good. I don't know nothing about them. You can barely see it down in there, but it's a south wind heater. The Viking 60 model. But I don't know, for some reason, women seem to always like these hoods like that with them eyeballs that stick up there.
I do.
Yeah, most women do. Everybody comes by with their wife or something, they always say, man, they got to looking at that, and they always make some comment on it. That's the front cap that my boys got for his Chevelle. That's an old GMC bob truck. I think got 248 engine in it. That's an old International back there. When I first got that, I bought it at auction, got it running, and drove it home. But that'd been many years ago. I sold the engine out of it. A guy put it in a front end loader. It had a red diamond engine that fit in a Huff loader. I drove that quite a bit. That was an old government surplus Ranger. The college had it. I think I gave $150 for it. I drove it a lot of years. And that right there, we drove that. My wife drove it till the air conditioning quit working on it, and she didn't want to drive it when the air conditioning quit working. She got tired of it. In 2018, I went an entire year, all year, without buying a single car, without buying a single tractor. Hardly bought anything, and I sold some trucks and tractors and stuff, didn't buy nothing. January 1st, 2019, I went to a New Year's Day sale up here in Missouri, about 100 miles. And I bought this 59 Pontiac Catalina. And I went and drug it in. I mean, I was suffering from withdrawal real bad. But I brought it in, and my wife didn't think too much of it. She kind of made a remark, said, well, that's not the 58 Corvette I want. But she can see this from her window when she does laundry. And now she's got kind of where she likes it. And she keeps making remarks like, I wish you'd fix that up. I'd drive that. This old wagon's on a truck frame, and I have determined that it's a real old international frame. But it's good to store pipe on. Didn't cost me much. That belongs my youngest boy. He likes these 67 through 72s. That's one of his he got. This here, I drove this one quite a bit. Got souped up 350 in it and everything. Old motor been in 4 vehicles. I built this motor 29 years ago. I built that engine. It's been 4 vehicles, and it was starting to get tired and pump a little blow by and stuff like that. And I got thinking I'd just quit using it before I run that motor completely. It needs to be gone through. That's a pretty good 67 Chevrolet pickup body. I got plans for that. I've never been done by now. This belongs to my youngest son. 67 GMC. Short bed. It was bought new. Piggott, Arkansas. Sold new. I bought that old truck at auction. It run. It run pretty good. Beat up.
Now close the door, Chris. Thank you.
It's a 90-something 4-wheel drive.
I like that.
I bought it at auction. The engine ain't no good in it. It just didn't get a title to it. There's a genuine Q-Code car, 67 Thunderbird, 428. I done pulled the engine out of it. I bought it because I wanted that engine. Still got all the leather interior in it, and it's still good because there was a snake living in this car, so the rats didn't get in it. But it's still got that equal lock rear end under it too. That's worth a dime or two. One of them little bell saw. They call it the one-man sawmill. I've never sawed on this mill, but it's a little one-man sawmill, M14 bell saw. I think 14 stood for it was capable of cutting stuff 14 foot long.
My arm.
The old 66 Chevrolet. Got that torsion bar front suspension. That's an odd truck to me. Got a big back window. You can see the mounts right here. It had a V8. Factory automatic. Factory V8, factory automatic short bed. But it didn't have any chrome on it anywhere. Plain Jane, no chrome down the side. Of course, on these here trucks it was stainless steel, but there was none on it. Little VAC case tractor. It ran, it drove right here. There don't seem to be anybody interested in buying them. The only person to buy something like that's me. '55 Chevrolet truck, the drive shaft storage truck, I suppose. a whole bunch of VAC case parts on this old trailer. I don't know, 3 or 4 engine blocks and the transmission. There's a lot of parts. Here's the back end of a VAC case tractor. This one here's got the eagle claw hitch on it. I think that nobody's got the eagle claw hitch too. That's an old 250 Chevrolet engine on trailer. There's somebody's power unit for something. That's one of them old outdoor wood furnaces. It's off this way. We're just about done with this walkabout tour. Wait till my camera lady makes it up here by me.
You're just going too fast.
70s. Square cab. 4-wheel drive. I'm parting it out. There's a little Ford Ranger. Windshield broke out of it. Got a 5-speed. This engine's missing. Old Ford Courier. Engine, everything's in it, the clutch don't work, it don't pull. There's what's left of Toyota. This here's one of these old vans. And there was some guys driving a van they bought, was supposed to be restored. They bought it in California and flew from New Jersey and was driving back. They got stranded at Springfield because steering sector went out and they couldn't find a steering sector anywhere. And somebody on the internet seen where they were stranded up there and told them I might have one, and they got a hold of me and they rented a car at the airport and drove down here in the middle of the night, and pulled the steering sector out and put it back on, went back up there and put the steering sector on their old van and finished making their trip to New Jersey. So I saved their hide. I didn't overcharge them. I charged them $35 for the steering sector. They'd have paid whatever I wanted. But anyway, I guess that's pretty much the tour. Only one thing I wanted to talk about here a minute. You look down here and look around. Most junkyards you go to, places like this, you got to fight with the briars and the brambles and the stickers and everything all growed up and everything. You look here, how this is all cleaned up. There's nothing here. What that is sheep. We got half a dozen of them Barbados black-belly sheep crosses, Dorper and black-belly crosses. And them sheep keep this mowed down like a golf course and keep all the weeds and stuff down. They do better than cows. They do better than goats. Trouble with goats, they get up there and jump up and down the roofs of every one of your cars. They can't leave nothing alone. And goats are picky. And there's a lot of weeds and stuff a goat won't eat, but them sheep will eat everything. I mean, I can see why the cattlemen out west hated the sheep herders, because once that flock of sheep went through, them cows was looking at starvation. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Y'all kind of got a gist of what we got here. And we'll say goodbye to you and wish you good luck.